Harpal Sambi is the founder and CEO of Careerify and the author of Social HR, published by Carswell. He spoke with us about using social media for recruitment. With so many social media networks out there, how can HR know which ones they should be using for recruitment?
I can completely understand how organizations believe it's confusing. There's well over 10,000 social networks plus that have 250,000 users across the world. So, it's not the conventional big four like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube that may be the tool that you want to use. So often I personally prescribe through social HR that there should be a few defining criteria that organizations should use. First off is where your end users are. So if you're trying to recruit for a co-op student, a baby boomer, or someone in between, irrespective of where they are, you have to look at what social network they're going to be on, so it's confined by geographic area. So if you're trying to recruit and expand into foreign countries, they might have a different social network that could be adapted to or they utilize. The second point that organizations should really utilize as well and leverage is their own employee base. So new hires. New hires are important simply because they can give you a great litmus of what will be utilized, where you can find like-minded people, and I personally believe that's a great way to go about finding really great vehicles, social recruiting tools in general, and which mediums you get to utilize.
How should HR go about implementing a strategy around this?
Implementing a strategy, I think it's, again, you have to look at engagement factors, because if you simply post, create a Facebook page, create a LinkedIn or a Twitter wall, and just continue to post for recruitment, I think it just doesn't resonate, because the normal company does that. So we encourage organizations to utilize intrinsic and extrinsic engagement factors. So utilize employee involvement through innovation, make it innovative, make it a challenge or a competition that your end users, such as your hirees or your potential candidates, have to do to achieve. Make it a little bit viral by creating incentives. Maybe those are extrinsic engagement factors that organizations can use as well, and that's how organizations can attract these end users, because they should in theory know how the end users behave and what they like and don't like, because based on their company culture. You want to find that ideal fit. So I think that resonates well if your company loves hockey or loves basketball. You do something around that theme to really lure the intrinsic benefits and get people involved in the organization instead of the conventional salary plus whatever it might be in terms of just regular perks.
What might be some of the challenges around this for HR, and how can they work to overcome those?
There are many challenges organizations have, and it varies from case to case. I mean, one example is the lack or the inability to access these social networks in their workplace. Whether IT has disabled them, management prohibits employees to utilize them. I think if you want to utilize social media, I think there has to be a slight culture change and embraciveness within the organization. So that's typically one challenge that organizations have. The second challenge that I often see is the lack of strategy. So having an end goal, a defined return on investment, not to say something really aggressive like saying we need to have 3,000 applications by the end of the year. I think that's not measurable, because you just don't know how the social media will affect you and behave. It may work really well, it may not work well. So what we advise is do like a beta or test program, just to sample how social media reacts for recruitment purposes, what the individuals and candidates are saying in terms of feedback, because I think it's important to solicit them to get the feedback, to say if it's appropriate to go on and go onto someone's Facebook wall or something that's personal. So I think that's important things that organizations should look at, and some of the challenges and concerns organizations have as well.